In 2012, Disney purchased Lucasfilm for $4.05 billion from the Star Wars creator George Lucas. This transaction included the rights to the Star Wars franchise, including film production, consumer products, animation, visual effects, audio post-production, and the company's Industrial Light and Magic and Skywalker Sound. Co-chairman of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, was then promoted as president of the new Lucasfilm division under Walt Disney Studios. Jumping to 2014, when Disney announced that everything created before April 25th, 2014 was considered non-canon in the Disney universe and would be rebranded as Legends. Only the original 6 movies, as well as the 2008 Clone Wars TV series, would be considered canon in the new Disney universe. Now, these 6 movies, as well as the Clone Wars TV show, existed in both the canon and Legends timelines. Since then, Disney has halted production on all Legends materials except for 2 ongoing projects, these being Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO video game, as well as the Legacy era comics. These were officially the last Legends materials to be created. Since then, though, the final season of the Clone Wars has recently come out, and it exists only in the new Disney canon and is officially not a part of the Legends universe. However, as the show is a continuation of the 2008 series and wraps up many different plot lines in it, it would kind of make sense if it did exist into Legends, but officially it does not, and its status is kind of up in limbo, and it's one of those things where we'll probably never get it officially resolved. Now let's take a look at the structure of Disney canon as well as Legends canon. Starting with Disney canon, there exists only one level in that everything is considered canon. All the books, movies, comics, TV shows, and games are all considered canon and all exist in the Disney timeline. Now, there are not supposed to be any major contradictions or major retcons that happen in these materials. Obviously, that isn't always the case, but at least that is the dream. Whereas in the Legends universe, there were differing levels of canon. Now let's start at the highest level, G-level canon, or George Lucas canon. Only the movies were ever considered this, and they superseded everything else, and whatever was said in the movies goes. Then there was T-level canon for the 2008 The Clone Wars TV show. After that came C-level canon, which was the vast majority of material in the Legends expanded universe. Then there was S-level canon, which was older canon that occurred before Lucasfilm took an active role in curating the universe. This consisted of things like the Holiday Special or super old Marvel Star Wars comics. Most of these are no longer really considered canon, but we can pick and choose what is liked and what to get rid of. Then there's N-level canon, which is non-canon and officially does not exist in the Star Wars universe, pretty much just consisting of things like alternate endings in video games or alternate reality books. Now, this is a lot to take care of and was oversaw by really 2 key figures. Originally, Pablo Hidalgo was one of the key guys that looked over this. He was in charge of running StarWars.com and kind of became a consultant to maintaining the Star Wars universe as a whole, until they hired Leland Chi and gave him the position of Keeper of the Holocron, in which his job was to smooth out any inconsistencies about material and make retcons where needed. Now, since Disney purchased the Star Wars franchise, both of these two have similar roles in the new Disney canon. So now the question is, what did George Lucas think of all these expanded universes? And there's no real clear answer here, as he's given numerous quotes and discussions on the matter, and ranging from him supporting this universe and having an active development in it, and him kind of acknowledging its existence as its own separate thing, and him really, not supporting it at all and just overwriting it entirely. And I'm going to look at a couple of quotes here, starting with the first one, in which George Lucas states that there are 2 worlds here. There's my world, which is the movies, and there's this other world that has been created, which I say is the parallel universe, the licensing world of the books, games, and comic books. And now going to a second quote, a little more negative one, in which he says that, I don't read that stuff. I haven't read any of the novels. I don't know anything about that world. That's a different world than my world, but I do try to keep it consistent. Now, looking at these quotes, it seems as if George is not a big proponent of the EU and doesn't get really involved in it all that much. However, looking at another quote from Star Wars author Matthew Stover, when talking about the editing process of the Episode 3 novelization, which he says, he received a Word document of Revenge of the Sith with Mr. Lucas's edits, which was distinct from all the other editors I'd already gotten. This document was edited in such a detailed fashion that even individual words have been struck off and preferred replacements inserted, as well as some passages wholly excised and some dialogue replaced with the dialogue from the screenplay. If that's not line editing, I don't know what is. What's in that book is there because Mr. Lucas wanted it to be there. What's not in that book is not there because Mr. Lucas wanted it gone. And now, taking that quote, we also know in other instances in which George worked with the development of the universe. Specifically in the New Jedi Order series, in which he mandated that a specific fan-favorite character be killed off. Now, we can take this in a couple of different ways, but really, I think it boils down to that George was okay with this expanded universe existing and all these other storylines going on, but whenever he wanted to create something, ultimately, that's the only thing that mattered. He did what he felt was best, didn't really care about anything else that had happened, right? The quote by Matthew Stover was about the Episode 3 novelization. Obviously, Episode 3 was one of the movies, and this was released as a companion piece to the movie. And the character that George Lucas wanted killed off in the New Jedi Order series, Anakin Solo, shared the same name as Anakin Skywalker. And this book also came out along the same time as the prequel trilogy. So really, all of the times when George got super involved in the universe, or when it was directly correlated to the movies that he was trying to create. Ultimately, it is, of my opinion at least, that, again, George was familiar with the universe and supported it to some degree, as long as it didn't contradict whatever he wanted to do. But overall, what he said is ultimately what goes. Finally, let's take a look at some of the things that Disney has been reintroducing from the old Legends expanded universe. And to start out, let's acknowledge that Dave Filoni, who was the creator of Star Wars The Clone Wars, a 2008 TV show, Star Wars Rebels, and is also one of the heads of The Mandalorian live-action TV series. Now, Filoni is a lifelong Star Wars superfan, and he was very familiar with the Legends universe and trying to keep the same vision of George Lucas alive. And not only him, there's a team of other people doing the same with the movies as well. But Dave is definitely leading the effort of keeping Star Wars alive in the same vein that George definitely would have liked. Now, some of the things that have been recanonized are old Sith Lords, such as Darth Revan in the new movies, Darth Bane in the Clone Wars TV show, Blurgs, little alien mounts, both in the Clone Wars and in The Mandalorian, in which, the Mandalorian and the Ugnaught rode them, as well as Grand Admiral Thrawn, originally from the Thrawn trilogy of novels, and he has been since reintroduced in the Rebels TV show. Now, just because all of these things, characters, creatures, weapons, and whatnot, have been reintroduced into canon, doesn't mean that all of their Legends backgrounds existed. For example, in Episode 9, there's a legion of Sith called the Revan Legion under reborn Palpatine's fleet. And in the Clone Wars series, Yoda sees the spirit of Darth Bane in Korriban. Now, the whole backstory for Revan no longer counts. None of that is true. All we know in Disney canon is that there was once a Sith Lord named Darth Revan. And same with Darth Bane. None of his backstory counts. The only thing that counts is what was explicitly shown in the new Disney material. And so, all of these references and characters and whatnot are being brought back in, varying roles. They are definitely different from their original counterparts in the Legends expanded universe. Now, just to wrap up, again, there are two classifications of Star Wars. There is the new Disney canon, as well as the Legends expanded universe. I will be primarily talking about the old Legends EU, but we'll definitely discuss some of the new Disney stuff from time to time, and we'll probably do some comparisons between the two as well. And so check out my channel for more Star Wars content, and don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the little bell. Thanks, everybody.